Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video let's interpretate the text Inanna and the God of Wisdom. So this is my own personal interpretations, this is my own personal viewpoint of the text. There is no wrong or right. If you have something to add according to the text, if you have your own interpretations, if there is something that you came up with, please feel free to write at the comment section. So first of all, the text begins with Inanna placing the zbugura, the crown of the step, on her head. And something very interesting is happening. She leans back against the apple tree. When she leans against the apple tree, her vulva was wondrous to behold. So we can interpret this in many ways, but in my personal understanding, first of all, we have a depiction that Inanna is a female deity. She has a vulva, and she has the organ that gives birth. And this is very important in this text. All the ancient texts are basically esoteric, magical instructions. Life was magical, people were using magic in every walks of life. Everything had a tradition, instructions, and magical influence. So by this text, beginning with the depiction of her vulva, that she is wondrous to behold, that means that this text is going to manifest itself all the time, in the future and always. Putting of the female organ at the beginning of the text means that this is an instruction that this text will be always alive. It will always give birth. It will always be manifested. Now, I'm speaking from a very esoteric, occultic perspective. This is just my opinion, because every word is not written just because. Everything have instructions and magical meaning. So another interpretation to her vulva is that Inanna understands that she holds a lot of female power, and she can actually manipulate her reality through her vulva. It can also be one of the interpretations. I know it may sound not moral and very not appropriate, but this is the truth. Females have a lot of power by being females. And it's not a secret that a woman can actually manipulate people, and especially men, with her by being a woman. So this can be also one of the interpretations, that she understands that she's a female deity, she's a woman, she have this female power, she can manipulate through the vulva, and she's really applauding herself and rejoicing at her wondrous vulva. She's very happy to be a woman. She's very proud of that. Then Inanna is going to visit the god of wisdom, Enki. And everything that Inanna is doing is very calculative and smart. She's going to visit the god of wisdom. And we can see this correlation with wisdom and Inanna, the energy of life. So Enki, being a god of wisdom, understands that Inanna is coming. He knows that. And we have another magical instruction. We can see what offering we can give to the goddess. And Enki is saying, when Inanna enters the holy shrine, give her butter cake to eat, pour cold water to refresh her heart, offer her beer before the statue of the lion, treat her like an equal. It is very straightforward, very simple, and we can use that information. So basically, we can understand that Inanna likes butter cake. You can pour cold water on her altar. You can offer her beer before the statue of the lion. And of course, treat her respectfully. So if you have a statue of Inanna, especially with a lion, you can pour beer in front of the statue of the lion. What it represents that we are giving offering to the goddess and to some force, to some power. A lion animal is a very powerful animal. It's the king of the animals. It holds all the power within. So basically, when we are giving offerings to the goddess, we are activating this force in ourselves. So then we can see a drinking party with Inanna and Enki. Inanna and Enki starting to drink a lot of beer. They're getting drunk. Now, we do not know whether Inanna is really getting drunk, because I believe she's very calculative and smart, but Enki is getting drunk. And there is a lot of ancient stories where the woman is getting the man drunk and she gets what she wants. It's not, it's not a surprise. So while Enki is drunk, he's giving her a lot of power, and he's saying, in the name of my power, in the name of my holy shrine, to my daughter Inanna, I shall give the high priesthood, godship, the noble enduring crown, the throne of kingship. Inanna replied, I take them. So Enki is giving her a lot of power. He is basically giving her the power and the permission to establish a legitimate cult. This is basically the moral of this story. He gives her all of those qualities and she takes them, and she receives a lot of power and a lot of skills and servants and priestess and basically all the instructions and mechanism that a cult should have. So after the drinking party, Enki is having this realization of what he done, how he gave Inanna all the me and the power. So he's wanting to have the me back, and he's asking his servant that the servant will get back all the me. And from that on, we are starting to have this action movie scene and this race for Inanna and the boat of heaven, the me, and it's very, very interesting. So another thing that I wanted to actually share is that we're understanding that Enki is giving her very important things before we're going to the action scene. So he gives her high priesthood, godship, the noble enduring crown, the throne of kingship, the noble scepter, the staff, the measuring rod and line, the high throne, shepherdship, kingship. All the things that Enki is giving to Inanna are actually things that we can encounter in our physical life. So some of us have power and kingship and a lot of qualities that are very resembling to all of the things that Enki is giving to Inanna. And as I said, Inanna is the goddess of life, and we do have a lot of things in life that have to do with, being in the position of power. And he gives her also professions that are associated with our earthly professions. So for me, it represents that a person who is activating his willpower, a person who is assertive, who wants to have power and control, basically is working through the channel of the goddess. So Enki is giving her the princess priestess, the divine queen priestess, the incantation priest, the noble priest, the libation priest. Basically, all of those people are people of the shrine. He is giving her the establishment of her cult. He gave her truth, descent into the underworld, and ascent from the underworld. This is very important because we will talk about this in my later videos about Inanna descending to the underworld. So she already have the qualities to actually ascend from the underworld. He gave her the kurgara, the crown of the steppe. the dagger and the sword, the black garment, the colorful garment, the loosing of the hair, the binding of the hair. I'm not sure about the garments, but the loosing of the hair and the binding of the hair can represent that the qualities of resting is also associated with Inanna. The losing of the hair, when we are loosening the hair, we are basically resting, we are in our comfort zone. And the binding of the hair is when we need to be serious and assertive. So he gave her the standard, the quiver, the art of lovemaking, the kissing of the phallus, the art of prostitution, and the art of speeding. This is the first time that we can see the association of Inanna with prostitution. I already had a video about that, so you can watch if you want. And of course, we can see that he's giving her all the arts of lovemaking, the kissing of the phallus. Those qualities represent love and temptation. So he gave her the art of forthright speech, the art of slanderous speech, the art of adorning speech, the cold prostitute, and the holy tavern. So he gives her the art of prostitution and also the cold prostitute, which is understood because females have this power. Females can be prostitutes. They can receive benefits and money through the art of prostitution. And we can see that those ancient people were very advanced in their thinking. And also the art of lovemaking was very important in Sumer times. They saw the sexual interactions as something very divine and civilized. So we will talk about it in later videos. Let's move on. So he gave her the holy shrine, the holy priestess of heaven, the resounding musical instrument, the art of song, the art of the elder, the art of the hero, the art of power, the art of treachery, the art of straightforwardness, the plundering of cities, setting up of lamentations, rejoicing of the heart, deceit, the rebellious land, the art of kindness, travel, the secure dwelling place. So a lot of things that again connected with establishment of a cult and with power itself, the art of hero, with music. He basically gives her civilization and life. So later on we can see professions that are associated with the goddess. He gave me the craft of the woodworker, of the copper worker, of the scribe, of the smith, of the leather maker, of the fuller, of the builder, of the reed worker. So those are the professions that are also associated with the goddess. The perceptive ear, the power of attention, the holy purification rites, the feeding pan, the heaping up of hot coals, sheepfold. He gave her fear, consternation, dismay, the bitter-toothed lion, the kindling of fire, putting out of fire, the weary arm, the assembled family, and procreation. Also, the kindling of strife, consoling, heart-soothing, giving of judgments, and making of decisions. So basically, those are very straightforward qualities that Enki is giving to Inanna. Very straightforward powers. Another interesting thing, after Enki is giving her all of that power and their drinking, he also blessing Inanna to arrive safely to her city. So he's saying to his servant, "My Sukal Izimud, the young woman is about to leave for Uruk. It is my wish that she reach her city safely." And this is very important because it does not matter whether Enki is taking his words back and he wants the me back. At the beginning, he's blessing her and he's reassuring that Inanna will reach her destination. She will have the establishment of her cult. So it does not matter what he's saying afterwards, but he already blessing her that she will arrive safely, and she's arriving safely. So Inanna is gathered all the me. the me were placed on the boat of heaven, the boat of heaven with the holy me was pushed off from the quay. Then Enki is waking up, he wants the me back, and he is telling his servant that he will get the boat of heaven with the me back. Izimud is coming to Inanna and letting her know that Enki wants the boat of heaven and the me back. So Inanna is very angry. She's really pissed off, and she's saying, my father has changed his word to me. He has violated his pledge, broken his promise. Deceitfully my father spoke to me. Deceitfully he cried, in the name of my power, in the name of my holy shrine. Deceitfully he sent you to me. Scarcely had Inanna spoken these words, when the wild-haired Enkum creatures seized the boat of heaven. So basically Enki is sending all of those creatures to catch the boat of heaven, and Inanna is asking from her servant Ninshubur to stand by her and save the boat of heaven. And she's saying to Ninshubur, you are the faithful servant of the holy shrine of Uruk. Water has not touched your hand, water has not touched your foot. My Sukal, who gives me wise advice, my warrior who fights by my side. So Ninshubur is the servant of the holy shrine of Uruk. She is the helper of Inanna. And she basically doing the work, and all the creatures that Enki is sending against the boat of heaven, Ninshubur is winning. She still rescues the boat for Inanna. So this is a very good friend, a very good, powerful ally that she has by her side. Then, when Ninshubur is rescuing the boat for Inanna, from all of those monsters, and it also means that, nothing is easy for Inanna. She always have trouble. Someone is always annoys her. In the story of Inanna in the Hulupu tree, she have these intruders. Now she's receiving a legitimate permission to take the me, and again she has problems. Nothing is always going easy. Like, she is receiving from her father permission to have the me, to have the power. She's going to her city, and yet again something is always trying to bring her down. This is very important. She's always fighting. She needs to fight with all of those monsters. She needs to rescue the boat of heaven. You see what I mean? Like, always someone is giving her a hard time, and she really needs to fight and to prove herself, to fight and to fight. Like, nothing is easy for this goddess. This is something very important. So at the end, then Ninshubur is speaking to Inanna, and she's giving her again magical instructions and magical ritualistic instructions. She's saying, my queen, when the boat of heaven enters the Nigula gate of Uruk, let high water flow in our city. Let the deep-going boats sail swiftly through our canals. And then Inanna answers to Ninshubur. Again, this is a very esoteric, magical form of text. So Inanna is saying, on the day the boat of heaven enters the Nigula gate of Uruk, let high water sweep over the streets, flow over the path. Let the old men give counsel. Let old women offer heart-soothing. Let the young men show the might of their weapons. Let the little children laugh and sing. Let all of Uruk be festive. Let the high priest greet the boat of heaven with song. Let him utter great prayers. Let the king slaughter oxen and sheep. Let him pour beer out of the cup. Let the drum and tambourine resound. Let the sweet tigi music be played. Let all the lands proclaim my noble name. Let my people sing my praises. So, from my understanding, this is a direct instructions for a ritual that needs to happen when the boat of heaven entering the Nigula gate of Uruk. We can understand from that that maybe it's talking about a period of time of tides, when the tides are high. It can mean that we have some sort of a date here. So it can be maybe a new moon, a full moon, or a time when the water have a high tide. Because Ninshubur is saying to Inanna, let high water flow in our city. This is a representation of high tide. And that means that Inanna is the queen, that Inanna is the goddess of waters also, of the sea and waters. This is very interesting. And when that time is happening, when there is high tide, and high tide can actually represent a lot of good things, because high tide in this, hot climate environment is maybe giving prosperous agriculture and fish and water to the people. So in this period of time, let the people be festive. When Inanna brings the water up, when the high water flow in the city, let the people be festive. And we have direct instructions of what the people should do. We have direct instructions of what the festival should be. It's very straightforward. And it is saying, and so it was. On the day the boat of heaven entered the Nigula gate of Uruk, high water swept over the streets, high water flowed over the paths. The boat of heaven docked at the holy shrine of Uruk. The boat of heaven docked at the holy house of Inanna. Very interesting. So the boat of heaven is arriving and docked in the holy shrine of Uruk, in the holy place of Inanna. And then Enki calls to his servant and saying that Inanna aroused wonder there. The queen has aroused wonder at the white quay. Inanna has aroused wonder at the white quay for the boat of heaven. So the holy meat were being unloaded. More meat appeared, more meat than Enki had given to Inanna. And these two were announced. And these two were presented to the people of Uruk. Inanna brought the meat. She brought the placing of the garment on the ground. She brought allure, the art of women, the perfect execution of the meat. She brought the tigi and the lily drums. She brought the ub, the meze, and the ala tambourines. And then Inanna is saying, where the boat of heaven has docked, the place shall be called the white quay, where the holy me have been presented. That place I shall name the lapis lazuli quay. And of course, because she's succeeding, although she's receiving a lot of distractions, and Enki is trying to put her down, although he gives her the me. He's sending all of those monsters. Inanna is powerful enough to succeed. She succeeding in accomplishing her mission. She brings the boat of heaven with the me. And for that, Enki is giving her the final permission. Then Enki spoke to Inanna, saying, in the name of my power, in the name of my holy shrine, let the me you have taken with you remain in the holy shrine of your city. Let the high priest spend his days at the holy shrine in song. Let the citizens of your city prosper. Let the children of Uruk rejoice. The people of Uruk are allies of the people of Eridu. Let the city of Uruk be restored to its great place. So this is a magical, ritualistic text of the establishment of the cult of Inanna, and she has a double permission to have a cult. A very beautiful and interesting text, and nothing is coming easy to Inanna. She's receiving the me with the manipulation, and she's succeeding to bring it to her holy shrine. And for that, she's receiving a double permission to establish her cult. She's receiving a double permission to have power, cult, and to be strong. Remember in the previous text, Inanna in the Hulupu tree, she was afraid of the word of En, and she was afraid of the word of Enlil. It seems like she was afraid of her father or grandfather, and now she's becoming powerful. She is powerful like her father and like the male deities. So the text is beginning with this magical instruction of the depiction and the mentioning of her vulva. That means that this is going to manifest itself. This text is going to be manifested. And we have here a lot of magical ritualistic instructions. We can see what offerings Inanna likes. We can see what people were doing when they had high tide in their city, in their region. They were very festive. We can see the qualities of the goddess. We can see all the things that she's holding, all the aspects of the life that she is representing, like the art of the hero, power, lovemaking, deceit, fear, heart soothing. All of those things are in her domain and in her power. This is a magnificent text that we can learn a lot about the goddess. This is just amazing text. And if you have something to add, please write in the comments, because this is just my own personal understanding, my own personal esoteric understanding of the text. So Inanna is expanding, she receives power. Now she have a legitimate shrine, a legitimate domain. She has her own city. She has civilized city, because Uruk was very, very civilized and advanced. And Inanna holds a lot of power. So nothing is coming easy. We can relate to her sometimes, especially if your life was never easy, if you had to deal with a lot of struggles. And this is also one of the reasons that I really relate to the goddess. And we also can understand that if you're going in the path of Inanna, if this is your goddess, you really need to understand her. And you need to release yourself, of course, from the moral or bad and good construct of the Abrahamic religions. Because in reality, we have everything. And good and evil is very personal viewpoint. So whether you like the goddess, whether you do not like her, this is her path. This is how she's receiving power. Through female power, through her being a woman, she receives a legitimate throne. It also can relate to some powerful women in our society. I think that they are walking through the path of Inanna, because at the beginning she's afraid of her father and afraid of the word of her father, and now she's doing this manipulation. So also she's going to the God of wisdom. She's using the power of the wisdom. Enki and Inanna have correlation. The life force is using the wisdom. She's very smart. She's using her skills. She's manipulative. She basically uses everything that she got. Everything that she got. So she's looking at her vulva and she's rejoicing at that. She's happy to be a woman. And she understands what power she holds and what she can accomplish by that. Female power, it does not mean that you need to receive everything through prostitution. It's not the meaning of the story. But it means that through female power, you can achieve a lot. And you don't need to hide your feminine energy. You need to be proud of that. Especially in ancient times, women were like a second sort of human beings. All they can do is, having children and being a wife. That was the end of the expansion of the female life. And this is very interesting that we have here this feministic goddess that is very powerful, and she's not giving up. She wants to have power, and she is the goddess of power. You see how strong she is? So I don't want to put the goddess in, in a box or in some titles that this is a goddess of feminists. No, it's not like this. She's infinite. She has a lot of qualities in her that are infinite, and many people can relate with her. And again, it does not matter whether you're a woman or a man. It does not matter. As I told you before, she was the goddess of the kings, especially of the kings and of people in power. So anyways, thank you for watching. Follow me on Instagram on magicalkey666 and support my channel on Patreon.